Hello, my name is Crystal Petry, and welcome to another episode of 60 Minutes With. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, make sure you subscribe to my channel right now. On this week's episode of 60 Minutes With, we are going to learn about executive coaching. We are going to learn about business coaching and how those things are beneficial for you, your leadership, and your team. And here to educate us on all things executive coaching, business coaching, the person with the best name, Shevvy Mack. Welcome to the podcast, Shevvy Mack.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'm excited to be here, excited to share my knowledge on executive coaching, business coaching, bringing my 22 plus years of active duty Air Force into your space, into your community to educate, train, motivate, and inspire. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do my podcast and saying yes to my podcast. I appreciate it so much. So, Miss Chevy Mack, tell me, where in the world are you?
Currently, because I retired from the military, I am currently living in Alabama. So that is home for me for now.
Alabama is a great state with a great football team.
Yes, yes. And honestly, I've come to enjoy this space. Never expected to be like retire and stay here, but I do
Mhm.
have kids, so I'm here for now. Yes.
Good, 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 good. Hey, if you ever feel like moving, Texas is always available.
It's on my list.
Yay! Yay!
It is on my list.
Okay, so Miss Chevy Mack, my first question, or rather my second question, if we're being literal here, what is executive coaching?
Okay, so from my perspective, what executive coaching is, it is truly for someone who is in a career and they're looking to develop themselves as leaders. So they may go out and decide to say, hey, I need someone to come in, provide me with mentorship, guidance, so that I can elevate myself as a leader, but also my team and maybe your area of responsibility that you are leading. So executive coaching is pretty much what someone feel like they need in the moment to excel in their personal and career life. So
Okay, because when I think of executive coaching, I only think of that as professional. So you can do executive coaching in personal as well?
I think so, because if you're that type of coach or executive coach, you're not just focused on the person career. You have to look at the whole person concept, like, because how they perform in their role as a leader, it depends on how their quality of life is. So it's not just one sided where, hey, this is your career, we're just going to focus. If you're like that executive coach, you have to make sure, hopefully you are ensuring that you're focused on the whole person. Unless the person say, hey, I don't want, the personal side, I just want my job because this is what I'm dealing with, then that's understandable. But for me, it's the whole person that I'm going to focus on.
That makes sense because even though people say, separate business from pleasure or business from personal, it's almost impossible to do that. It really, really is.
Yes.
Okay, so this next question, I'm asking it because when I hear or read about executive coaching, it they really seem to blur the lines with executive coaching and business coaching. It seems to be the same thing, but upon talking to you, even before we got on the podcast, you made it known that it's two separate things. So, what is business coaching?
So for it's the same but just different path, I will
Okay.
say. So business coaching is, for example, like if I am looking for support in bringing in more leads into my business, then I may go out and hire someone who's specifically focused on business owners like myself, entrepreneurs. So business coaching is someone who has their own business and looking to bring in mentorship, a coach or a consultant to say, hey, I am feeling stuck. I need to generate leads. I need to bring sales into my business because I'm the CEO of the business. So that means I need to go out and find someone who is very similar in the executive role, but instead of the executive role of coaching, now they're focused on business. Like they're focused on helping you to scale and create a business that you can actually thrive and sell in the future.
So I'm hearing that whenever someone is wanting business coaching, it's because they are wanting to upscale their business and bring more money, more resources, more leads into the business.
Yes, from my perspective, because as a business, you know, consultant, my job is to go in, and support entrepreneurs who have their own businesses to elevate their processes, their performance. And also that support is for the business owner as well too, which can be maybe there's mindset, maybe there's blockage because as the business owner, you're the sole decision maker, but in executive coaching, you're actually supporting a higher individual in that organization. So I feel like they're very similar, but it's just two different journeys that each person is on, but the outcome is very similar, just for
Okay.
business and one is for organization.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the outcomes. What would be the end goal in business coaching, and what would be the end goal in executive coaching?
Okay, so great question, Krista. It depends. I believe it depends on the person. So if you think of an executive coaching, and I do support organizations as a trainer, a consultant, and also a coach. But if you're supporting a individual who's in the corporate space and they're looking for leadership development, the end goal you have again having that conversation with that person, and for each person is going to be different. But in the executive role, it might be, hey, I want to be a better leader, or I'm looking to get into the C suite, and what are some roles, what are some things that I need to do to get there during that journey. And for the business side, the end goal, depending on the person, some might be, hey, I'm looking to generate sales because I don't have sales coming in right now. Another person, I've had conversation with individuals who have reached out and say, hey, I need structure, like I'm making the money but I don't have the structure to retain my team, to develop my team. And then maybe someone is at the point where, hey, I'm looking to sell my business. So it varies for each different individuals.
Okay. Who, and this is a two-part question, Chevy. Who would you say needs executive coaching, and who would you say does not need executive coaching?
See, that's a great question, but honestly it all depends on the person and
Hmm.
where they're at on their journey in their careers. Because even though I may not be at the C suite level, if I were in an organization, maybe I still will like that support at my level, because I truly believe that you don't have to wait until you get to the C suite to get that leadership development. Like if you are in the manager role, if you're like, hey, I'm in a supervisory role, I say if you can afford it, or if your organization can invest in you, then definitely have those conversations, because it starts from the beginning. You don't want to get to the point where you're at this level of, C-suite, and then you're trying to figure things out, how to lead people, how to manage, how to optimize processes and performance. You want to get that understanding from day one. So if you can get a executive coach to come in and support you from the beginning, I say do it. Okay. Do not wait until you get to that level, because I feel like a lot of people they struggle in that space. And that's why it's like, okay, I need an executive coach. But if you have that in place from the beginning, you can continue to build upon that on your journey to that, VP CEO role.
When you say beginning, and I'm kind of black and white thinking here, when
Okay.
you say from the beginning, does that mean the day you get the promotion from the beginning, or you're still maybe the director before you become the president or vice president?
Oh, yes. Like it, do not wait until you get that promotion. Like in the military, one thing I love about serving, 22 years in the Air Force, from day one, from basic training, we are being developed into leaders. And in the corporate space, whether you're at the beginning stage, find opportunities to get development. And I know there's a lot of opportunities where organizations are bringing in coaches, mentor for the higher levels, but if your organization is able to bring in for where you're at, whether that's the beginning stage or mid level, utilize those resources, because it's going to help you to be a more impactful leader as you get to that level of executive leadership. So
You know,
hopefully that
one
answered.
thing, thank
Mhm.
you. You know, one thing I was thinking, Chevy, as you were speaking, is if you are investing in like your lower level management, whenever they become your C level, your president, your vice president, there is no drop off in production because they already have that development and they're already ready. So you don't have to
Exactly.
wait for them to get ready because they're already ready.
Exactly. Exactly. So true. And that's why executive coaching is it's important, it's needed. But we don't want to just need it when we need to have it. Like we want to have it where it's like, hey, I'm thriving here. I'm trying to figure things out. So let me bring someone in to support me. So when I do get 20 people that I'm overseeing and leading, or maybe 30, 50, depending on the level of the organization. In the military, I was supporting, 100 plus people. I've led, events for thousands of people. So it's not just waiting until you get to that role. Because in the military, when you get promoted, guess what? You're ready. You're ready. Day one, you put that rank on. It's like, okay, Shevvy, this is your department. You're overseeing the budget, the $1 million of resources, all the things. But we are prepared from day one.
Excellent. Now, one of the things that we spoke about in our initial conversation is you target women for your clientele. Not that I'm upset about it because we need all the help we can get, but
Yeah.
why target primarily women?
Okay, great question. So, like you said, I do serve any men, male and female, but my target audience, I really focus on women because one, we are so passionate, we are impactful, we are driven. And what I'm seeing in the space of women, it's like they don't have the support, like true support to help them elevate to the next level, whether that's in their executive role or in their businesses. And I noticed that a lot of men are, for example, building businesses that are sellable, that are worth multi-millions of dollars. And then you may see a woman business owner who is working hard, and she has multiple roles that she's filling. Not saying that men don't, but if you look at a man's role and a woman's role, it's we're doing multiple things. And that man
Man,
is like,
Shevvy.
he has the job. Yes, he's going to work. Yes, he may help out with the kids and so forth. But at the end of the day, you're still coming home. You're still cooking. You still got homework. You still got activities, and you still have a full business or a full-time job. And for me, it's like I want to make sure that I'm able to help these women not only work hard, but also create the life that they want and have support where they feel like they're truly supported and not just a plug and play. And that's it, like really intentional support so that they can thrive in their businesses and career.
Excellent. Now, we have only been talking like 13 minutes, but if someone wants to reach out to you to be their mentor, to be their coach, to come in for business coaching or executive coaching, how could they do that?
So individuals who would love to connect with me just to learn more about my services, what they can do, they can email me at info@macleadershipacademy.com, or they can just find me on LinkedIn at Shevvy Mac or on Instagram at Mac Leadership Academy, or check out my website at macleadershipacademy.com.
Wonderful. And who can forget the name Chevy Mac? I mean, I just love it.
Thank
I,
you. Thank you.
I just love it.
Thank
So,
you.
Chevy, how did you get into this space of executive coaching and business coaching?
Okay, so as I look back, on my career and my life, education like has always been my thing. Since as a kid, I cried when I was turned away to go home for the first day of school. And as I was going through, life, doing all the things, school, parenting, moving in the military and working 12, 14 hours, life happened and I ended up with vertigo. I ended up with anxiety. And then I really shifted how I wanted to live. And I got into blogging, wellness. So I started off with wellness. And then from there, as I get closer to transition out of the military, like 3 years out, I was like, okay, I love leadership. I love developing people. I love training. I love, coaching, all the things. So I wanted to merge the two. And at one point I had two platforms, leadership and wellness. And I was like, this is a lot. So I decided to just like, okay, what do I have the most expertise in, which is leadership? Because after 22 years in the military, and at that time, I think it was at 19, 20 years, And it wasn't until 2020 I invested in my first coach to say, yes, this is like legit. I am moving forward. And for me, it's the impact that I can make on the lives of people. Because, yes, I want to make money in my business, but honestly, for me, I am people driven. And for me, it's like I want to see, even with the clients that I've worked with, it's like just seeing how they are thriving, the impact, how they shifted their mindset, their confidence. Like that is my purpose. The money will come, it's coming, but at the end of the day, for me, it's the impact that I'm able to make, especially in women, for women.
Yes. You know what? People are a lot. So God bless you for wanting to help people.
Yes, I know like a lot of people like they don't want to be leaders, they don't want to lead teams, but for me, I'm just like, let's go, let's do it. It's just always been a part of me, Crystal. Honestly, I'm a people person. Education is my thing. Transforming minds is my thing. So yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. With your clients, what is the one takeaway? And I'm sure you have several, but if you could pick, what is the one takeaway you want all of your clients to walk away from you having learned or gained?
That they can do any daggone thing they want to do, like literally, because your your mindset is key. And for me, it's not just coaching you, it's not consulting you, it's really shifting your entire perspective and how you see yourself and the belief that you have in yourself to know like, hey, whatever I want to achieve in my career, in my business, life, it can happen. It's doable.
Yes,
So yeah,
yes,
that is like the number one, that mindset. It's like let go of the imposter syndrome, let go of the disbelief, like, man, am I worthy of this position? Am I worthy of building this beautiful business that I can sell in the future? Yes. Like
yes,
that is my
you are.
yes, exactly.
Um, Shoot, I lost my question.
No, it's so good.
We talked about this earlier, just a little bit, where you talked about executive coaching and business coaching addresses the whole person. In what ways does it, and do you address the whole person when you are doing executive or business coaching?
Okay, so in what ways does it impact the entire individual? So
Yes.
for executive coaching, you want to look at the whole person, because if a leader is having challenges in his or her journey as they're leading others, you have to look at how they're leading themselves first and how they're taking care of themselves, their mind, their belief, their mindset. How do they see themselves as a leader? Because a lot of people may be struggling to step fully into that role because they don't see themselves as the leader, or maybe they've never even experienced leading other people, and now they have this opportunity because their higher leaders like, hey, you're doing a great job with all these different tasks. You're going to be supervising 5 people. So now you went from 0 people to now 5. Now the whole person concept comes into play. Now I have to work and coach you and mentor you on your mindset, shifting and trusting yourself to believe like, hey, I have earned this role. Yes, I was focused on just the task things, but now I've hired an executive coach to help and support me to get to that point of trusting myself to lead this 5 or whatever amount of people that you have. So it does go hand in hand, because there's no way that a person is going to continue to show up long term when they're having challenges at home. Because again, you may have relationship challenges, you may have parenting challenges, you may just have life challenges. Maybe there's something going on with you internally that you can't show up as your best self, which impacts your ability to perform in your role as a leader, which impacts your team performance, which impact the organization. So it's a ripple effect. So as the executive leader, you have to go in and not just think of, well, I'm going to focus on the career. No, I have to focus on the person that I'm coaching and mentoring.
How does the executive leader, the president, the vice president, the CEO know, hey, I need executive coaching? How do they even know that they need that?
I think it depends on each person. For one, if you have a leader who is responsible for you, hopefully he or she is like taking notice of maybe some challenges that they observe from, from the individual who needs it. And hopefully they are having conversation with the individual and say, hey, Shevvy, I see it, you're not at your best. What's going on? And hopefully that environment has been created to where that individual can have a honest conversation and say, hey, Crystal, this is what I'm dealing with. I need support to help me excel in this role because right now life is happening and I cannot function or operate optimally because I'm not focused here in the organization. So it goes back to trust. It goes back to creating that environment for your people. And also you as the individual doing a self-assessment, self-awareness, going back to the emotional intelligence, like, okay, I need some support and not let an ego get in the way for you to not get support. Like, so you have to be intentional. You have to say, you know what? I don't know the answer. I don't know what I'm doing. I am, which is going to increase your stress because now you're trying to just figure out all the things out by yourself. Now, having those conversations with your leaders, identifying and coming to them and say, hey, I need support. And maybe that leader don't have the time to support you, but guess what? They can get you an executive coach to come in and support you. So using your voice.
You know what? That is a bold, courageous person that will say, I just don't know. I don't have the answers. I need help.
Yes.
Because most people would not do that. Most people would not admit that I don't know. I don't have the answers. I need help because they feel like maybe it makes them look weak or it makes them vulnerable or they might fire me.
Exactly. What you just said, Crystal, is so key because a lot of people, even in the military, like there were individuals who would not say anything until it's too late. And it's like, because they're worried, okay, what is the leader going to say? Am I not competent to do this, be in this role? But no, it's best for you to go ahead and voice your concerns and get the support that you need so that your boss can be like, wow, Shevvy was able to be vulnerable and come and say, Crystal, I would love to get an executive coach to help me to make myself better, my team better, but also the organization, because it's not only impacting you to receive executive coaching, it's impacting the entire organization, not just how things are done, but also the quality of life too.
And I think at this point in time in the world and in our life, vulnerability is a strength. It
It is.
should not be considered a weakness anymore. It should absolutely be considered a strength at this
It
point.
is. It is.
Yeah.
And hopefully individuals have the courage to trust themselves and not fear that, oh, my boss is going to think I'm incompetent. No, your boss is going to be like, you know what? Thank you. Because they want to see you succeed in this
Yes.
role. Because if you don't succeed, they don't get to succeed. So it's like, really think like what you are doing, you're benefiting the organization as a whole, not just yourself. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Now, as we've been talking about executive coaching, we've been talking about it as it pertains to like within a company, within a business, the president, the CEO. But as you were, as we were talking about with like the moms and the things that they do at home, could stay at home moms or stay at home dads utilize executive coaching as well?
I would say yes. Honestly, anyone can, utilize executive coaching because even though you're a stay-at-home mom, that's a full-time job. That is a full-time job. That is your headquarters. Every single day you get up, you gotta get the kids ready, whether you're homeschooling, you're making sure the maintenance of the home, you're running appointments. So you're at a job every single day. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that the job is in your home. And yes, you need that mentorship because it's a lot maintaining a home. It's a lot going into a career as a mom or as a dad. So, yes, as a stay at home woman or dad, guess what? If you need to get executive coaching, find someone who can support you and meet your needs because you need an outlet.
Right.
Because there's a way you can still look at how can I optimize my day. Maybe you're procrastinating, maybe you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and maybe you're trying to create something in your home, like maybe whatever that is. That executive person coach can help and guide you to help you kind of get clarity in all the things. So again, this is Shevvy. My thing is like executive coach is not just for executive leaders, okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
How does executive coaching and business coaching help someone become a better communicator?
Oh, wow. Great question. So I believe that when it comes to executive coaching, by meeting with that person, you get to verbalize your challenges, you get to verbalize your frustration. And depending on the situation, depending on what you came to get, coach on, it's going to help you to go back into your organization and be able to communicate more effectively. Because a lot of times communication is the key, is the breakdown that is causing all the friction within the organization and even in a business. So it is the same thing. So if you're in corporate or if you have your own business, having a coach to flush things out, to get clarity, is going to help you to become a better communicator, because now you're going inward. Because if you have the right coach, you have the right mentor, they're not going to be the person to be like, oh, yes, Crystal, I hear exactly. No, they can be like, Crystal, do you see how you may be the cause for this? Because they're putting it back on that person instead of, because sometimes with coaching, in mentorship, that person will come into the Zoom room or in person and they will put like share all the things that are happening, but there's no accountability.
Hmm.
So part of that coaching is, the accountability piece, but also the communication where that person can now articulate what is truly is the problem, because sometimes they may think something else is the problem when it's not. But having that coaching experience, it's like, aha, it's like, oh, this is the real problem. Now I
Hmm.
need to go back and have this conversation with, X person or with my leader, because there has been friction between the team, maybe myself and the leader. And just having that one-on-one support is going to help to boost that person's confidence and ability to have a honest conversation, and also understand what is the true problem or challenges that we have right now.
Yes. So I wanna pivot really quickly because we're talking a lot about coaching and we've mentioned mentorship as well. I don't want to assume that all of my listeners and my viewers know what those words mean.
Okay.
So, Chevy, can you explain to us what is coaching or what is a coach and what is mentoring and mentorship?
Yes, of course. So as I was transitioning, getting more into the coaching space, I kind of learned more about the two, because in the military we do a lot of mentorship. And we are mentoring from day one. Like, we're always giving feedback. We're always, have a mentor to guide us on our career path, whether we're looking to get promoted to this specific rank. You will have someone who is in your corner, supporting you and guiding you and giving you the tools, kind of like the roadmap. So if you think of mentorship, think of someone who is going to support you in your journey, who's also going to give you guidance and direction. So that person may say, hey, Chevy, this is what I need you to do. I need you to do X. And you're like, okay, this person has gone on this journey already. So they know the roadmap to get there. So I'm going to follow. And yes, it's going to be tweaks, but that person's going to guide me. And also they're going to let me know where I need to pivot. So that's more mentorship. And then on the coach side, this is more, we're having a conversation, like, for example, you and me right now. And as you're sharing, instead of me saying, well, Crystal, this is what you need to do, like a mentor, I'm going to say, oh, Crystal, what are your thoughts? What do you think is the best solution for you? So coach is more putting it back on the individual, and mentorship, it's more like I'm guiding you more. But in coaching, I'm allowing you to make the decisions. I'm allowing you to figure things out more on your own. And yes, they're going to be a little bit of prompt based on the questions that I'm asking in coaching. But for mentorship, it's more like we're having conversation, but I'm going to guide you more instead of you. And yes, you're going to, it's, so the mixture of both with mentorship. But with coaching is more focused on the person getting to the solution instead of me giving the answer to them.
That was an excellent explanation. Excellent. Okay, so back to the questions. Executive coaching and business coaching. How does that help someone in their weaknesses?
Okay, so by deciding to get coach from as executive leader or even a business coach, that person who is coming in, this person is an expert in their field. So what that's leadership, like I have a background in leadership, I have a background in team development, all the things. So if someone was to say, hey, Shevvy, I want you to be my executive coach, now I'm able to identify gaps that maybe they were not aware of. Because as the coach, or whether that's in business or executive, the more that you listen to the person or the individual, and you're actively listening, you get to pick up cues, not on what they're only saying, but also how they're moving in front of you. Okay. Because you can say something, but then the body language of that person tells you something totally different.
Right, right. Because body language, isn't it like 80-20, 20%? I mean, 80% of what you say is your body language, nonverbal, and 20% is actually what you say, the verbal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So, on the flip side of that coin, how does the coaching help someone enhance their strengths?
Okay, so the way coaching allows individuals to enhance their strength, because one, they're coming to the situation or to the coach, executive coach or business coach, with a problem. And sometimes that problem may not be the problem that they truly want resolved. It's more like the segue to say, hey, this is my problem, but it's not really my problem. But by having or stepping into that room with that person, is going to allow that person to, one, verbalize what the emotions that they're feeling, the frustration, and two, identify ways forward of how to overcome that challenge or whatever that situation is, whether it's career, whether it's business, and focusing on, okay, what is my strength as the individual? And that coach is going to help that person to pull out, because sometimes we focus on things that are not our strengths, and which hinder us and keep us from moving forward. But that coach, a quality coach, is going to help you to really focus in, like shift your mindset to focus on the strength to go back into your organization, go back into your business, and really thrive in that role. Because sometimes as the leader, we are wearing
Yes.
multiple hats in your business and in your career. So that coach is going to help you to kind of, instead of wearing all the hats, kind of like bring it into maybe 2 to 3, and look at, okay, what are your strengths? And then everything else, let's delegate. Let's outsource this if we need to. So,
One
yes.
of the things I keep hearing you say, and I'm sure my audience does too, is coaching has a lot to do with like your mind shift, your mental, the way you think and perceive things, whether that's in the correct way or even the wrong way. So speak to the importance of the mind shift.
Oh my goodness, Crystal. Your mindset is everything. I don't care if you have a problem and you like, hey, I'm coming to you to solve this problem, Chevy. But if your mindset is not where it needs to be, like if you're that person who is seeing everything as negative, I
Mm-hmm.
don't care how many coaching hours you receive, and you're still in that frame of mind, and nothing is going to change.
Yeah.
Nothing. But if you are that person, like, yes, my mindset is stuck right now, but that coach is there to help you get out of that, shift that frame of mind. But the more that you believe that I'm the perfect person for this role, I know how to lead my team, not just say it, but also take actions to get there. Excuse me, because your belief system is either going to hinder you and keep you stuck, or allow you to elevate how you lead, how you communicate, how you connect, and how you live. But if you keep telling yourself every single day, man, I'm overwhelmed, man, I'm stressed, I'm not a good leader, I'm not a great leader, why is this happening to me? Then guess what? The quality of your life and how you show up in your business and career will always feel like it's just like you're drowning in that. But if you shift your mindset, like it's like the growth and fixed mindset. Fixed mindset individuals like, I only see right here.
Mm-hmm.
The growth mindset is like, oh, I see beyond, the ocean. It's like your vision is so big as for me, as a growth mindset person, your vision is so big, like you can't even see the end of it.
Oh,
And
wow.
then with and with the fixed mindset, it's like all they see is right what's in front of them and that's it, which is gonna stunt your growth as a leader,
Mm.
your ability to thrive, your ability to live, your ability to, advance your business, advance your career. So the mindset and everything that you're telling yourself every single day is going to determine how you show up, is going to determine how you lead your people, is going to determine how you communicate with them every single day, how you communicate with yourself every single day. And if you're in that mirror looking at yourself saying, I'm not good, or crying because closing, like you're in your office, like the door's shut and you're just like, this is not the quality of life that I expected, then you have to shift your mindset and start taking action. But if you continue to be in that space of fixed mindset, then you're in trouble. But when you have great coaching, executive coaching, or a business coach that is not only focused on the task of, oh, you came to me for this specific job or business. No,
Right.
I'm focused on your mindset too, because the mindset is the starting point for shifting and creating change in your life and business.
And that goes back to what you were talking about earlier, coaching the whole person, not
Yes.
just this one thing, but it truly is the whole person that you're having to coach and lift up, or, whatever they're asking for.
Oh, yes, definitely. And one thing with the mindset, like my current client, she ambitious, 30 years military experience, counselor, like have all the accolades, but sometimes she gets in her head
Mm.
and we have to work on the mindset to shift from, okay, let's focus in on all the things you have achieved. And sometimes it's going back to journaling, affirmations, talking to yourself positively. So it's not just sometimes it's not just one and done. It's like continuous coaching, because sometimes people, we get in our heads and it's hard to get out of it when we get to that dark place. So
Yes.
maintaining a healthy mindset is so critical for your overall success.
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. And you know what? We could do a whole nother podcast just on that. Just on the
Yes,
mindsets. You could do
yes,
a whole nother podcast just on the
that,
mindsets.
that's
Okay, so what about self-esteem and self-confidence? Does executive coaching help with that, build your self-esteem and your self-confidence?
oh yes, definitely. I've coached individuals, and even just from them leaving reviews on my Google page, and they talk about their confidence has shifted to a level where they're like, wow. Again, for me, it's I help people create the possible, the impossible in their minds, because sometimes, when I work with individuals, they're confident, but also they're not fully confident in how they show up and how they lead in their businesses and in their role. So coaching, again, you have to have the right coach. I'm going
Yeah.
to say this, whether that's executive coaching or business coaching, because everybody and their mama, they're coaches, there are coaches out there, but which is fine, to each his own. But you want to make sure that you have a coach that truly cares about your needs, not just theirs. And with coaching, yes, your confidence can shift, because now you're having an intimate space with someone who hears you,
Mhm.
understands you, and is giving you guidance to move forward, because maybe you were scared to say something to a specific leader because maybe you felt uncomfortable. Now you have a team that you're leading, but now you're more confident going and setting boundaries and expectations with this new team that you didn't have before. So yes, it shifts the mindset, because when your mindset shifts, now you're showing up more confidently, you're showing up more boldly, and you're speaking with more confidence. So again, the mindset piece is is key here. But
Yeah.
yes, like coaching does improve your confidence a lot.
If someone is on the fence, they are listening, they are watching this podcast, they are on the fence about getting an executive coach, or on the fence about bringing in a business coach, what would you want them to know to kind of push them, into the yes, I need coaching space?
Great question, Crystal. So one is I would tell that person, look at your current situation right now. And if you love it, stay there. If you've been complaining about, hey, I am tired of how things are going in my business, I'm tired of, feeling stuck in my career, then you have to do a self-assessment. Either I can choose to stay here and wallow in all the things that are not going right with my, my business and my career, or I can choose to find someone to start helping me to get out of this funk that I'm in, or hire someone to I have an objective, but I haven't met this objective, meet this objective in 2, 3 years or the last 6 months. Maybe it's time for me to get someone. And I know some people are like, well, I don't have the financial means to hire someone at this time. Guess what? You can always have conversation with that person, and you can say, hey, I can do this for you if you can support me with maybe 45 minutes of your time. Excuse me.
Like
So
a
you have to look
barter
at
system.
exactly like a barter system. Like really look at how can I bring leverage to this person if I don't have the financial means. Not saying everyone is going to be like, yes, I'm gonna go ahead and give you coach for 45 minutes because you're doing X. Because people want to get paid because it's their services, and if it's a quality coach, they're giving you transformation within 45 minutes. And I've done it, and I've seen people receive transformation and clarity within an hour, within a first coaching call. So if anyone is on the fence and considering, do your research on
Mhm.
identifying who exactly will be a best fit for you. Also look at what are your resources financially, what can you spend, because some people may
Right.
have thousands of dollars, and some people may only have couple $100 to get a few sessions. So really look at, okay, where am I at, resources, who would I love to support me, and do I want to stay here, or do I want to see results, or do I want to have a better life?
Okay. And what about your personal intention in this space of executive coaching and business coaching? What is your personal intention in that space?
My personal intention for business owners is to truly get business owners to the point where their team members are so well developed that the team members can operate without the CEO being in the business. That is for the business owner. Like I'm that person when you work with me, is like, hey, you're so busy. I'm going to come in after having our conversation, identify what's going on, and I'm going to develop your team so that they can operate without you being all in the business. And for the executive side, is truly helping that woman to get to a point where she can step into her role fully, trust her team, because that is a big thing. The lack of trust, because they may feel like, well, are they going to sabotage my career? That's
Yes.
not the case. But it's truly helping them to step fully in their role so that they can create more opportunities to step into the executive role, higher executive role. So it's really helping these executive women to see like, hey, where you're at, you have bigger vision. Let's get to that vision.
And Chevy, you do so much to help out people. Like you said, your goal is to help out people. You do executive coaching, you do business coaching. What are some other things that you also offer?
I also do consulting. So, for example, if, for example, for business owners or organization, if they would love for me to come in and just provide leadership and team development consulting in their businesses or organization, that is something that I do. So, anything with training and development, consulting and coaching is my three space of where I support organizations and business owners.
When
Oh,
someone,
and speaking, I'm sorry, I forgot
oh,
to
go
say
ahead.
speaking. So
Oh, okay.
if you would love for me to come in to speak on team, development, retention, all the things, definitely that is my space as well.
Excellent, excellent. Um, if someone is wanting to do executive coaching or business coaching, the first question is always the money. Is
Mhm.
it expensive to have an executive coach or a business coach? I know we talked about the barter system earlier, but kind of outside of that space, is it expensive to have someone come in and coach?
It depends on the level of the individual, honestly, and the expertise. And it all depends on each person, because one person may charge you $25 an hour for coaching, and then another person may charge you $250 an hour. So it all again, going back to what is it that you desire, and what can you support financially to get the result that you're trying to get. But if you think of an organization, what I've learned, a lot of organizations will bring executive coach and consultant into their organizations to provide support to their top leaders. And hopefully they're bringing that in to their lower managers as well too. So, but if an individual who's looking to pay out of their pocket, I will say on average, you're probably going to pay maybe for a 3-month support, it might be $3,000, or it might be five, or depending on where you're at, it might be $10,000. So it really depends on your desire outcome and also who can truly help you, which is key.
And I consider you a professional and expert in this space. As an expert, as a professional in the space of executive coaching, business coaching, how do you know if a client is a right fit for you and to work with you?
Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. And the reason I'm saying that, because I've worked with clients, and honestly, sometimes we already know, like we have that intuition as women. And there was a client that I, brought on. This one this wasn't a paid opportunity. This was like free coaching just to kind of get my feet wet. And just from conversation, I kind of knew like where this person either was going to complete the full program or kind of just like stop coming. And sure enough, that person just stopped showing up. Okay. So as the coach, you kind of get the feel of just from conversation, if this person will be a good fit, and also how they show up, in the sense of not how they look, but in the sense of how determined they are to get to the result that they're trying to get to. Because you may have someone who comes into your coaching program and they don't mind paying you, but they're not doing the work. They're not doing the work. Like, you want someone who is going to pay you, but also who's going to do the work. Because I'm that coach. I don't want you to keep paying me, because I want you to do the work so you can get the results, So yeah, so you just have to be discerning with who you would like to come into your program, because sometimes the person you may feel like is a great fit, but when they get into the program, it's not a great fit. So it's just to each person.
Yeah. We have talked at length about the benefits of having executive coaching, the benefits of having business coaching. Are there any cons to having executive and business coaching?
I would say the only thing I'm going to say, it's if you keep getting executive coaching and business coaching and you're not doing the work.
Oh, yes.
That will be the con. Or if the individual is saying that they can deliver, but they're not delivering in the sense of the coach. Mm-hmm. So that is a side where someone is saying, hey, pay me $3,000 or $5,000, whatever the amount is, but they're just giving you information, but no true tangible outcome is being received from the other party. So that could be just something to look out for, because people will promise all the things.
Yeah.
So as someone who is looking for a coach, and I've been in a position where I've invested thousands of dollars into programs, thinking that I'm going to get a result, and it doesn't happen. But I'm that person. I don't allow that to deter me from investing, in other things. I just look at, okay, what did I learn from this? What can I apply as I move forward into my business? So just kind of be cautious of what that person is promising you and in the time frame, because you can be out of luck with somebody because you expected a return by this set time and date, and it doesn't happen. So just be realistic.
Seems like you had a mind shift there, Shevvy, whenever you're like, okay, I didn't get what I want, but what did I learn from this situation? What can I take forward from this situation?
And you have to, like, Crystal, like, for me, I'm that person, like, I do not allow the negative things to just kind of stay dormant in my head and just kind of go and repeat over and over. I'm that person. It's like, okay, that happened. Let's move forward. What's next? And that's how I approach my, in my coaching, is like, when my clients be like, well, this happened. Okay, that happened. How are we going to move forward? Like, I do not allow you to wallow in just that pity. No. Even when I have conversation with my good friends, like, accountability partner, I'm like, girl, no, ma'am, we're not doing that.
What we're not going to do is that.
Exactly. And they're like, thank you, Shevvy. I'm like, let's go. Let's make this happen.
Yes. Okay, so the next few questions really are like, how does executive coaching help in like these certain areas? Is our next few questions. So the
Okay.
first one is, how does executive coaching help you achieve your goals faster?
Okay, so great question. It helps you because now you have someone who more than likely has done what you're trying to do. And this person is going to guide you. This person is going to listen. This person is going to help you to create your roadmap to whatever, to the next thing that you're trying to achieve. So, executive coaching is really someone who is on your journey with you. They're not doing it for you, but they're like you have someone along the path to support you, to answer questions, to challenge you, to get you to think differently, to get you to take action. Because again, you're having a two-way conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and you're
Okay,
not and you're not on this journey alone. You actually have someone in your pocket to call on and say, "Hey, this is what mindset block I'm having," and now
right.
this coach can provide with questions and resources for you to think differently.
And it also sounds like to me that when you have an executive coach, you have a safe space.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, 100%, 100%. Because so many people don't, they feel like they don't have a safe place at the job to share. But now with this person, because what you share with that coach is confidential. This is your space to bring whatever challenges, whatever frustration you may have, and get a solution to that or to
Hmm.
those things. So yes, definitely a safe place.
How does executive coaching help identify and alleviate blind spots?
Ooh, that's a good one. As someone who has coached individuals before, like it's really listening to that person and bringing it to their awareness.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people we're talking just to be talking. And when you have someone who is well, one, you've created the trust, you created the safety. Now that person can really share with you, like, this is what I'm seeing. Because some of your coworkers, or if you have, lower team members, they're not going to say certain things to the leader because one, they don't want to offend the individual, they don't want to get in trouble. But with the coach, executive coach or business coach, now you have someone that is not going to just tell you something just to be telling you because one, they don't work for you. So they're going to tell you exactly what they see, and you're going to be like, oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yes.
So and now it makes you like, okay, is this what's coming off to my people as well too? So that's how, for me, you're able to help individuals to identify their blind spot by having conversation and sharing things of what you're observing that they're doing, and they probably were not even aware of that. And I've heard that in conversation. Oh wow, I didn't know I did that, Chevy. Like, yes. Hmm.
You know what? That leads exactly into my next question. How does executive coaching help give or get unbiased feedback?
Oh, unbiased feedback. So with executive coaching, I'm going to also bring my military hat on. This is part of the mentorship. And honestly, like I said, they're all commingle together. And
Hmm.
with the military, we we it's consistent feedback. If you really care, because I've had supervisor where I didn't get any feedback whatsoever. But with executive coaching, again, having this conversation with those individuals, like identifying and giving them tools and resources that they can utilize outside of the coaching space to make sure that when they're giving feedback to individuals, even themselves, how they can be not be biased and just think, well, this is my way and I'm the leader, so it has to be this way. Like, no. And again, that's part of the coaching, that's part of the development piece that you get in executive coaching. And hopefully this person is able to bring truly what is happening with him or her to that coach, so you can really have a full, like, okay, picture of what is really happening and not just piece of it.
And I think like with executive coaching, I mean, you're saying such great stuff. It's making me like think of these other questions. But I think with, and kind of other statements as well. I think with executive coaching, a lot of the onus is on the person to be honest.
Yes.
Like, be honest about, this is what I think I'm dealing with. This is what I've been told that I'm dealing with. This is what I know that I'm dealing with. Because through the honesty, that's how you get the help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So hopefully they come into the Zoom room or in person and be like, or whatever platform they utilize in, and know that the space that this coach has created is a safe space. And hopefully they're open and comfortable enough, because they have to get comfortable with just building the rapport to share exactly what is the challenge that they believe is a challenge. Because sometimes, like I said, it may be something totally by the end of your coaching call, like, oh, this is what I really needed to hear today.
Yeah. Yeah. How does someone know how often they should meet with their executive coach?
That's going to be determined by the individual and the coach. Because some people, like for me, what I do, I will ask individuals, we do one-on-one, like we meet weekly, and depending on the capacity, some may be like, well, I only want to meet twice a month because of time constraint.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And then other individuals like, oh no, I want the week to week because I want that consistent accountability as well too. So it all goes back to the needs of the individual, and then we go from there.
What is the setup like of a coaching meeting or call or Zoom meeting? Do you just like walk me through that? Because to me, I feel like you just get on there and talk about random stuff, but I'm sure that's not the case.
No, so for coaching, again, you're gonna it's just like it will be just like us being here on Zoom. Oh my goodness, just
Mhm.
like us communicating here on Zoom. But before that person, what I like to do before that person even get on the call, whether that's a business coach or individual in corporate, there's an agenda. And I always ask, like, well, say for example, it's not the first call, it's the second call. What would you like to be coached on? What are some things that you have going on? So the individual doesn't just show up and then it's just like a waste of hour where we're just trying to figure things out. But we have a clue of, okay, where we would like to start. And then based on questions, based on, the conversation, then we know, okay, how we want to move forward. And then what I like to do, I like to ask in the beginning, okay, you shared 3 things with me. What is the number one thing that you would like to be coached on today?
Okay. And so that's how you kind of build the agenda or the plan
You
moving.
build, yes, that's how
Okay.
you kind of navigate the rest, because sometimes you'll have individuals who there's a lot of things going on. So it's like, hey, I have this, I have that, I have this. And as the coach, you want to be like, okay, I hear you, but what is your priority right now?
Okay.
And then if they say, well, I want to, for this hour, I want to focus on this, great. Now you can navigate that topic, objective, and get to a plan by the end to say, okay, how can we move forward with this specific objective? So next week we can follow up, but also we can start building upon the other things that you want to support in.
Okay. Now, this next question is a two-part question. How does the executive coach know they have been successful with their client? And how does the client know they have been successful with their executive coach?
Okay, for the client, and again, it depends on the individual, what they came to get coached on. As long as they have seen a shift in how they think, how they see themselves, also the objective, what was the outcome that they wanted to achieve with that coach. And over time, even before the coaching term is completed, they should see changes. Sometimes people are able to see change within the first week, and it should be a build up for more additional changes. So again, going back to what it was the objective and was it met? And for the coach, it's seeing how that person from where they started, because you want to have an intake form based on specific questions based on the coaching. And then you can do a measurement of, okay, where this is where we started and this is how this person's ending. So you kind of see the growth of where they were and how they have transformed into this more elite, more empathetic leader, whatever that objective was.
Oh, I love that word, elite. Okay.
Because remember, when they came, it was like, I'm lost. I have
Yeah.
all things, and I was like, "Oh, I'm ready to execute. I'm ready to go forward." Not saying they're perfect, and the best of, they're like have all the things together, but they're more advanced than when they first came in.
Okay. So I have a couple more questions for you, Miss Chevy, then I'm gonna let you go.
Yes.
What do you think? Give me like two or three of the best qualities a person needs to be a great executive coach.
Integrity. You have to care about people. And the third one is you have to have the right mindset.
Okay. That
Mhm.
care about people is the probably the hardest one.
For some people, because some people just, they're doing it for the money, which is
Mhm.
fine, to each his own. But in order for me, I believe in order for people to really get the transformation that they need, you have to go beyond just the surface, like really
Yeah,
tap into that person. And people want to be seen, they want to be heard.
it's
So,
true,
and when you
especially
show
in
that you
this day and age.
exactly, and when you show people that you truly care about them and not just what they're paying you, you'll see the transformation.
Okay, my final question for you, Miss Chevy Mack. Who do you think would make a great guest on the podcast? But you have to help me get them on.
I got you, Crystal. I have an amazing friend. Her name is Rochelle Hemingway, and she is called the Slay Queen.
Oh, I
And
love it.
yes, so I think she will be a great guest. She has 30 years of military Air Force experience. She has her own business as well too. So I think she will be a great fit for your podcast.
Thank you. And thank you so much again for agreeing to be on my podcast. Thank you for giving us your time and your treasure. I appreciate it.
You are welcome.
Yes. And to my listeners, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this podcast. You can get Chevy's podcast and all of my other podcasts on YouTube Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. And remember, you always have time to listen and learn on the go.